Hi, we're coming to the end of the week. It's Friday afternoon on the 24th of November. I've had quite a lot of people asking me more and more about the targets, so I'm always happy to answer any questions you have. And I had a few people say, could you just show me how you use them on a list of stocks? So I want to just show that and share it with you. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to yahoo.com. This is a free data service which Update is compatible with. And what I can do is just grab that list of stocks in Yahoo, and then in Updater, all I have to do is go to the quotes menu and create a new list. And you can just go and create a watch list from pasted text. So literally, I can just paste them in here. You can add a prefix or suffix, so you can easily change from one feed to another. You select the provider, so I'd select Yahoo, and you create the list. And so that's what I've done here, and I've just created this list, and then it will pull in the data from Yahoo. Now, of course, Updata is compatible with lots of different data services, so literally I could just go and choose. So if you were looking for UK data, for example, you'd look at all our data services, and they're just varying. So if you want a real-time data service like Metastock, there's lots of professional services, of course. You could look at Metastock End of Day, which is about £20-25 a month. And there's a whole lot of other services that Update is compatible with, bar chart, you name it. So, but here I've just chosen Yahoo, and that's what I'm going to work with. Now, before I do go through the charts, because Yahoo's doesn't have intraday data, I'm going to just focus on daily and weekly charts. So this is more thinking about the medium-term time horizon and the long-term time horizon. So I'm looking at daily and weekly. I'm thinking weeks ahead and months ahead. And I just really wanted to highlight the differences between a good-looking chart and a not-so-good-looking chart. So here's the list. There's 25 stocks in the UK, list that I've just pulled in. You could do this again on any list you like. You just literally open any chart, and Updater is pre-configured with the new targets. So you just literally, you literally just take the chart, press the T key, and it will put all the trends and targets on. And it uses a 0.5% as the mechanism for doing that. So here we've got on the long-term chart. This is the weekly. This is a 1% unit. Hopefully you've seen the video on how the targets work. So this has got great upside potential. This is AAF, and we see here that we've got a mixture on the daily chart. So it's really running sideways. We're sort of back below the cloud. This is not a clear picture. And what I just want to run through the stocks quickly. So here we see AB Foods, the weekly. Notice this target on the weekly was given right back at the beginning of 2023. It's saying another 12 to 20% higher. It's giving us a time. We can read that off on the chart. So we see here that we've got that time around November next year, if that's the level that we're going to run at. And the downside targets were met, but this last one, not so much. So it's really key in terms of how we use this. And we just go through. So good upside targets here, waiting for one to be activated there. Auto Trader, good upside targets here as well. If I just press that zoom button, it puts the targets back in the right place. We're above the cloud on both charts, so that's looking quite good. And we just literally can go through. And so we literally just run through the charts. Below the cloud, not looking so good. Double downside targets there. And literally this one here has got good upside targets. So looking good there. And we see here, downside targets not good on the medium term. These new targets kicking in. Experian here, good upside targets. So that is looking better. Just come back above the cloud. We might now start to see a move towards these targets. Fraser Group, we see here, again, good train tracks up the hill. That's the long-term chart. So we see that there. These targets maybe will not be met until 2025. So that gives you a great feeling as to how long you have to wait. If we get new highs, we activate an even bigger upside target. So that's really what we're looking for when we're looking at stocks, and we can just literally run through and see the targets. And you can do this on your own stocks list, so you'll get to see whether it's looking good or not looking so good, and that's the really key thing. So here, predominance of upside targets. These orange ones are downside targets that have not yet been activated. New lows would activate that, but for the moment it's the upside that's looking good. That's M&G. Looking here, not so good. Rolls-Royce, we see here quite good long-term upside targets, not so clear on the daily chart because we don't really have any thrust targets there to speak of. RS Group, not looking great. This is the key thing. Downside targets below the cloud on both charts, not looking great with downside targets. Rentokil, if we look here, big move down. If we move lower, we activate that. Not a great looking situation. Schroders, here we see, again, below the cloud, you really wouldn't take those upside targets because the trend is below the cloud. Shell Group, oil has been strong, of course, in energy, and we're seeing here further upside target there. So if you're a long-term holder of Shell, that's your weekly chart where you're thinking months and years ahead. We do have a little mini downside target, but we're still above the cloud there on Shell. Smiths Industries. New downside targets just kicking in there, and the same on the daily chart. So you put less emphasis on these longer term targets now. Looking here, SMT, Spirex, not looking great, although we've got an upside target. We're below the cloud, and you'd favor those downside targets below the cloud on the weekly as well. Scottish Southern Energy looking better with an upside target. That's a recovery. And these targets now starting to look in trade, so you start to ignore these downside targets. St James's Place, not looking great. Downside targets there. And Tesco's, looking at Tesco's here, looking really quite good now. We're above the cloud, upside targets. And again on the daily chart, multiple upside targets. Notice this one was given here. Okay, it took a little bit longer. We haven't quite met those targets, but you'd favor this upside. We're above the cloud, and we've got multiple upside targets, only 5, 6, 7% ahead. That may be enough for many investors. This downside target now very much off the cards while we're looking at that upside. So Tesco, one of the better looking stocks there. And last of all, Vodafone, just looking at that in the list, not great. Downside targets there. And if we look here, on the weekly chart here, really very clear these downside targets being given. So you do not want to be in stocks where you've got these downside targets. You want to find stocks where you've got the upside train tracks, not the downside ones. Hopefully that helps you. Have a great weekend. Remember, doing a special offer on the targets. There's normally for our institutional only clients, but if you're a private investor, we're doing a great offer up until Thursday next week. Why not take advantage and join us? And we hope you'll find the targets as groundbreaking as the existing clients who've already adopted them are finding them. Until Monday, happy charting. Bye for now.